Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Quarter Variant at a Time. It is me, Danny Nine Panels, with the homie Roy. We're back.
Imperious Rex.
Yes, sir. Roy, we got to skip a week, but we've been reading a lot more comics lately. We've been reading a lot
Yeah,
more comics. We've had some time, and we now have educated opinions.
I have opinions. I have opinions. I don't want to go so far as to say that they're educated. They are based on what I read, so there's that. But I don't know. I wouldn't want to toot my own horn like that.
So when I start the show, I like to actually, just in case anybody's watching for the first time. So I'm Danny. I'm a big DC guy. As you'll see when we go over what I've read every week, it's DC and independent. Occasionally, my fiance might give me some input on some She-Hulk or something else like that. And then Roy, you could tell him, but you're an X-Men guy, you're a Marvel guy, like you're in
Yeah.
tell him.
I'm like, despite everything that you will hear come out of my mouth, I'm a diehard X-Men fan. And so that's my main thing. So I'm always into the X-Men and everything related to that. I do Spider-Man. And like I find most of my love like in more independent stuff. You know what I mean? So I have some of that to talk about later on. But yeah, so yeah, I'm an X-Men guy, and I love it. I love to hate it. I hate to love it. Everything in between, but I do collect it, and I even occasionally read it. And so I've got good and bad on that front this week as well.
Yeah, and you know what's funny? Like I'll jump into it right off the top. Dude, they put out Marvel needs to get their schedule together because they put out a lot of X books all in one week, and then there'll be weeks where there's like no X book, and like
Really? I don't
this
feel
week.
that way.
Well, this week was like like it's weird to me. There was like 3 new X books this week, and I'm like, well, I guess I don't know. Maybe there's so many X books. There's 3 new X books every week. Maybe.
I knew this was gonna be wonky because all of like the mini series and stuff that are moving us through the fall of X to the fall of X, rise of X, powers of X, whatever that crap is.
Yeah.
Everything moving that way. It's all different amounts of issues. Like this is 5 issues, and this is 3 issues, and this is 4 issues. And I was like, these guys don't have their crap together at all, and it's just gonna be wonky. I saw people talking about it like in the groups. They're like, isn't it weird to get another whatever book like right on the heels of another book? And I was like, man, that Amazing Spider-Man run is up to issue 36, 37, whatever. You know what I mean? That it's been like a year and change, maybe. Like, don't ask me how they get out so many issues of that. Still waiting for like Ronin book 4 after like a year and a half. I don't. It's make believe and it's arbitrary. Like that's one of the things I learned coming back because I learned the word indicia from you, and I'm really excited about that because I knew what a chyron was, which is the little information block that's on like a music video. And I learned that because I'm an MTV generation kid. So I learned the word indicia from you. And so that had me looking at them all over again just because, look at me. I know the word. I'm fancy. And so I was looking at the indicia on like some X-Men book, and it was like, oh yeah, published once a month, except for July and September. And I'm like,
yeah, I love how like they always have some ridiculous thing like that in there, and I'm like, what are you talking about?
Just like planning for a bye week now or something. Like I don't get it. Like when I was a kid, like it just wasn't like that. Like
no, and like
publishing's
weird, man. Because like I know, and you were reading Contest to Chaos, but like or what? Right? Is that what it was called?
I'm collecting it. I haven't read it yet. So I think I still don't have it all.
To me, that's a bad example of publishing because. Okay, so let's use Fantastic Four as like an example. You're reading Fantastic Four, now there's an annual for Fantastic Four, so you pick it up because you're reading that book, but it's this other story that if you didn't pick up the other 4 annuals, like you're not going to understand. And I think that's not fair to the collector, because that guy that's hardcore. I'm just using Fantastic Four as an example because I know that was one. Moon Knight, I think, was also one. Like that guy who's hardcore Fantastic Four, hardcore Moon Knight, he's gonna buy that book, and maybe he'll read it. But if he reads it, he's gonna be confused. And
yeah,
like, that's
for sure,
that's crappy. Hey, Nicole.
What's up, Nicole? I see that as well.
So, all right, what did we read this week? Since we're reading now, so that's the new opening format. Is what did we read this week? I'll I'll start with one, and then we'll alternate. Let's do that.
Okay.
So I'll do my one independent book to start. I did go ahead and read Maria Mora's Ranger Academy. I interviewed her. She was super nice.
I watched that.
University of Florida grad, St. Pete native. Like, I loved it. So I went ahead. I read the story of this that was in the 30-year anniversary Power Rangers book, and it was cool.
Gotcha.
It was Billy at his college, Billy, the original Blue Ranger, at his college, and this alien comes up on his screen and is like, "Hey, you need to. We want you to teach a course at Ranger Academy." He's like, "I don't know what that is. I don't know what any of this is. That's not a real place." Like, which is exactly what somebody who only just 25 years ago stopped watching Power Rangers, like, has no knowledge of anything afterwards. So I thought that was a great little jumping on point. Introduces entirely new characters. The idea is that occasionally legacy Power Rangers are going to show up as teachers and advisors in the academy itself. And the newest character is this one. I forget her name, to be fair, but they just all they're all just very cool original characters. It is written as a YA, I'll admit, but I'm that type of person that's like enjoyed a lot of YA books just because they're easy to ingest. They're obviously they don't talk down to you, but they're like easy to understand, everything like that. So like I really enjoyed it. I went ahead and subbed for issue 2. I'm sure, I don't think it'll be an ongoing. I think it's gonna be like a 12 issue maxi. But I liked it for what the first issue was. Ranger Academy, really cool. If you're a Power Rangers fan, you definitely want to check it out.
Right.
But if you're not, it didn't have a lot of that Power Rangers lingo in the first issue, which I enjoyed because, again, I'm a guy who's 25 years removed from it all.
Yeah. That's my thing. Is like when it comes to the Power Rangers. Once again, zero disrespect for that entire franchise. I was already like out the door. You know what I mean? By the time that aired. And so while I respect it and you can't deny its staying power, if it's not Bjorn Barron's zombie Power Rangers on the cover, I don't know anything about it.
Bjorn's been doing fire. Real quick, Dan said that's how they did the annuals back in the 80s. And he mentions Atlantis Attack and things like that. And he's right, because you know what's one as a DC fan I see all the time, and I'm like, oh my God. And granted, it doesn't look like those things sold well, Dan, based on how many I see in dollar bins.
Right.
But, I think it was Bloodlines. Was a DC like annual.
It was
like,
Bloodlines.
Thing. Yeah, and I see them everywhere, and I'm like, what even was Bloodlines? Like, this
Dude,
is
even I don't know all of that one. That one was one of those things where it was in the 90s and it was in like the Maximum Carnage era where like everything's got to be like 14 parts, 26 parts. And then you have these annuals on top of it, and the way they made you collect all the annuals like that. Looking at Kings of Pain, in particular,
Evolutionary Wars, I remember.
Yeah, and it's just got you like buying stuff that like you absolutely wouldn't do. Yes, Daniel, got it. That's it. That's it. In one.
Was that what Bloodlines ended up being?
Yeah.
No, everybody I see on the covers, I'm like, I don't know who this guy is. Like, what is this?
Right. Yeah, it was wonky, but I mean, every publisher's guilty of doing it. You know, they've all done it. Yeah. So,
right,
but yeah.
What did you read, Roy?
Just because I have a platform for it, I'm going to go off. I read Masters of the Universe, Forge of Destiny. This is the #1 cover, which actually came out before, but I picked up the
2 came out this week.
Yeah, 2 came out this week, so I get to go on about it. This is rad. This is based on the timeline that is the Kevin Smith show that is on Netflix, which, despite a bunch of really weird guys trying to cancel, is still alive and well. And so this comic revolves around that. And so it goes back and it's telling you like earlier adventures of like He-Man and that world, that Eternia, that timeline. And I'm always a sucker for the lore. The art is just like you see on the cover, is what you see on the sequentials, so it's just like the cartoon itself. I'm really enjoying that. Like, it's what they always try to do, which is marry. Well, but they're not trying to do what they always do, which is marry the adults that we are now with trying to get kids into it. They're not really worried about getting you into it if you're not a Motu fan already. This isn't a kid's book. It's more violent. It's more adult themed. And this is aimed at people like me. I know Daryl is a fan. I know he read the one before this. I don't know if he's reading this one. but so it's aimed at guys like us or people like us. Sorry, it doesn't have to just be guys. My bad. And but aimed at people my age, and I think they're doing a really good job with it. It's Tim Seeley, like it always is. So this is the guy that you get when you want one of these kid dream IPs, and it's working well. I'm enjoying it, and that's one I got for me.
All right. I'm gonna go ahead. I want to give love to like a quick graphic novel. Mine will be quick as Roy gets ready.
Yeah, it's
Nice.
funny because the first time ever, like to cut down on time instead of showing every single cover, you want to talk about what we read. But I've read more books this time than I've read at any time. Yeah,
that's great. So I'm gonna go over this graphic novel real quick, just because it's volume 2. Actually,
cool.
My theme today is volume 2's. So volume 2 of Wayne Family finally came out. They're coming out pretty quick because these already existed on Webtoons. So it's easy for them to churn them out. But volume 1, volume 2, I love this. It is again a YA thing. My theme for the morning apparently has been YA issue 2s. But
I dig it.
But I love it because I was actually talking to somebody at the shop, and they were like, "Oh, I love Batman and all, but it's like, man, I wish there was more of like the Robins." And I said to them, I said, I don't want to like pretend you ain't heard of something, but have you heard of Wayne Family Adventures? They're like, yes, and like I love it. I'm like, that's what people kind of want. Like, yes, people want Batman, right? There is a large group of people. It's a very popular book. They want Batman, but this is giving you more of Jason Todd and Dick Grayson and Tim Drake all interacting at once, and Stephanie Brown and Cassandra Cain hanging out, and Duke Thomas being the newest, it's all the cool stuff that you and it started realistically as like kind of fan fiction, but it's so crazy to see like we weren't the only ones that were like, man, like why don't the Robins all just interact? Like why does this have to be a once every decade book that we get a Robins,
Sure.
So I love Wayne Family Adventures. Came out this week, volume 2. It's a trade paperback, so it's usually going to be in print. So just definitely order that from your LCS, support LCSs, and pick something like that up to prove that things that are webtoons are still going to do popular in physical media.
So I'm looking at the comments. So yeah, like I remember when you FOC'd that, and it's like so weird that this would come in for you this week because randomly. I went back to after like playing my fingers sore on my PlayStation doing Mortal Kombat 1. I went back to the Xbox and I saw that they put Gotham Knights on the Game Pass.
Yeah.
And I was like, just me personally, like I wouldn't pay to play that game, you know what I mean? And especially having played it, like some of it's kind of clunky, like bad.
Yeah.
But that's the only down part I've got to say about it because like I said, the Game Pass, I got to play it. So I've been sitting down for the last like 2 days, like diving into like exactly what you're talking about, like the interaction of like the family as opposed to Batman.
Yeah, because that's why that game is uber successful. In the sense is that it's the family. In that one it's Batman's dead, and this one it's like he's the father figure, so he doesn't have to be your key component.
Yeah.
But I love it, man. And I'm not a big Batman lore fan, but like I think to myself, if the Flash family grew or how it's grown in the last decade, like I'd love a book like that with the Flash family. I'm sure there's people that'd love a book like that with the League of Assassins. Like there's a market for things like this is all I'm saying.
Sure. Absolutely. Yeah. No, that's rad. And I'm glad that it worked out for you. Like that's something that I would be into for sure.
Yeah. So what you got? What'd you read?
All right. I'll go ahead and give it up for you. I read Transformers. I picked this up from Image and Daniel Warren Johnson. I love this cover. Like I almost thought that it was like John Jang when I saw it. It reminded me of that. And so this was cool. And big shout out to you and Aaron from Blackbird for throwing that in my box because I passed it right by. And big shout out to Daryl for pointing it out to me.
Is that a John Jang cover?
No, it's not. No,
it looks like it.
I don't even remember who it was actually. And there's like 42 covers, so like you'll have to forgive me. I don't know. It says it down there, but it's darker in here than it looks. Anyways, so this is a continuation from off of everything that are establishing with this Energon universe and everything with Void Rivals. And my take on it is honestly, it was just kind of meh. There's nothing I don't know that it was amazing. It's like the same take that it always is, except for you've got Teletran Power of Convenience just rebuilding the trend. I don't want to give away too many spoilers. Like I just happened to glance over at Daniel's comment before I went over, and that's where I made my mistake. So I don't want to drop too many spoilers, but I just thought that this was kind of like a run of the mill take on it, and I know that they're just establishing not only this book but a broader universe of all the things that we all love as kids, and I think that that's great. And I'm not knocking its potential to be good, but I mean, it's I don't know. I'd rather have it from Pat Lee and the dudes at Dreamwave, where at least it looks rad. Like this art to me was passable. It's okay, and the story was okay. Like it's the same story 1,000 times over. They've crash landed on Earth, and we're at war. And so that's it, man. I don't know. Like, well, yeah, like I understand that they kept it small without forcing 200 characters in the issue, and like it doesn't. But like I said, it doesn't matter how many they force in or out of it. You can obviously jump right on here if you've been living under an
That was
energon
going to be
cube.
my next question.
Yeah,
Can you straight just jump in if you're
yeah. If you've
13 and
never, that's what I'm
know?
saying. Yeah, if you've been living under an energon cube for the last 100 years and you've never heard of Transformers whatsoever, you can start today. Absolutely. So there's that.
Well,
It's
that's
your
good.
jumping on
That's what
point.
they needed. Because I'll admit the IDW. First of all, the IDW thing ran very long. I think they thought they had another Ninja Turtles on their hands, and they
I
didn't.
agree with that.
But it became confusing. Even though it would be a mini series, I think people all assumed it was all tied together, and it was
Right.
hard to. So this, I mean, this is the most people I've ever seen picking up a Transformers book, because it's not just the hard. You always had the hardcore Transformers guys, but this is a. It's fresh. It's fresh. Let's just call it that.
Sure,
It's a fresh start.
absolutely. And like I said, you're just establishing like a whole new thing, you know what I mean? Or everything old is new again. And I'm sure it's got all the potential in the world. I just, with all the books that I collect, just one more take on Transformers is, I mean, it's gonna have to be a little more stellar. And like I'm gonna give it a shot to see where it goes. But I mean, you know what I'm saying? I'm more excited about Big Game from Mark Millar,
Yeah.
where he's killing off properties of his that I've never even read. I'm having more fun reading that, you know what I mean, than I am this. And so that's just my opinion. You know what I mean? Like, please, for the love of all, like feed whatever desire for Transformers you've got inside your own soul. You know what I mean? Don't let me talk you out of it. But for me, it just wasn't. I wasn't blown away
Yeah.
at all.
Yeah. And that's gonna like it's not, and that's like the thing about a property like that. It's not for everybody. It's not just like the, the fact that they were able to catch that lightning in a bottle of like getting that these sales on issue 1, and it'll be like anything else where sales for issue 2 will drop and everything like that. But like you said, a couple people I know will pick it up being like, all right,
Sure.
let's see where this goes. So that gets you sales to issue 3 or 4, and then knowing, I know Kirkman's not writing this, but it's Skybound, so he's that editor above it all. Like he knows how to keep things fresh. Like he learned a lot from Walking Dead of like,
Sure.
hey, like drop something wild here at issue 5 and get people hooked for issue 6, or like end your arc on a cliffhanger. Like he knows. So let's be
Right.
real.
It's
There's
psychology. Yeah.
So I'm gonna just quickly mention this one before I just jump to one that I read like a lot of. This is the seasonal DC book. So
That's
this
fair.
one's DC's Ghouls Just Want to Have Fun.
Oh yeah.
I actually was talking to a customer, and honestly, I compare these a lot to the new talent showcases of like the 90s and 2000s, because I looked at the table of contents, and everybody other than Kenny Porter and Riley Russomo, who work on a Green Lantern story together, are pretty new people. Dexter Soy is doing art on a Nightwing, but everybody else is pretty new to the ball game, which is cool because it gives these guys like 6 to 8 pages to be like, hey, show us what you can do with a DC character. And in this, there is a Question story, a Green Lantern story, an Animal Man story, a Nightwing story, a Superman story, a Robot Man from Doom Patrol story, a Crush and Lobo story called Happy Hallow Loboween, which is ridiculous.
A mouthful.
And Man Bat. So it's just like, this is cool leading up to Halloween. You like spooky, more of the spooky characters. I am disappointed that there's no Etrigan, the demon, in here. I'm a little disappointed that there's not a Constantine story in here. And to be fair, he might show up in a story. I'm a little upset that there's not a Zatanna story in here. But that's it. That's my those are my queries, you know.
Did you read Batman Beyond last week?
I did not. I'm one issue behind. I did not read 3 yet.
All right, man.
I'll get that done next week. That's in my to be read pile. But because I know we're doing the show, I've been trying so hard to read books that came out this week, and I'm
I started there too, but like I had to get I got that. I had to read that one.
So
I'll leave it there.
I did read the homie Josh Trujillo's Blue Beetle 2. Of course, I picked up my Spanish. Yeah, and I was able to get that on order, so I'll have all 3 covers this week. But of course, I got the Spanish. This one's the Spanish edition. They put the Spanish really small, which made me a little upset. But we're all right.
Yeah, and that's what we were talking about at the shop. Yeah, it's you did think they would do a little bit more to distinguish it, but maybe that's also the point.
So,
but I would be wary that like people who would accidentally buy it not realizing it was the Spanish edition.
Yeah. That's why I'm glad that I'm like equipped with that information. So if somebody walks up to a register, I can be like, "Hey, that's just let them know."
Right.
But I'm gonna give my super honest review on this, just because Josh is the homie. I loved it. Right. I loved it. I say that to preface will probably come at the end of this. I loved it. First of all, at the very beginning, like I think at this point, I mean, the cover says Ted Cord, a crushed beetle. So Ted's hurt, Ted's injured, he's in the hospital. And what I love is he opens the book with the old JL. Was it the JLI? The old
dude, I don't even know how old Dan Garrett is.
Everybody that's visiting him in the hospital is the old Justice League, like Fire, Ice.
Oh yeah.
Blue Beetle, or Booster Gold's there. Guy Gardner's there as a construct because he's like out in the galaxy. So I thought that was cool. I'm like, all right, this is clearly somebody who loves Ted Cord, who like loved all that stuff. It's like the very first couple pages. Yeah. Who else?
It's the very first page. Yeah.
So like the very first 2 pages.
You got them all. Fire and Ice.
Yeah. So I love that whole cover. I love that. I love this new Beetle. Is ruthless. Like there's some cool mystery happening. I'm gonna give my one complaint to the book, and I don't even think this is Josh's fault. I'm sure this is all editorial in a way. There was only 21 pages of story in this, and I don't know if that's the case for all books nowadays.
I didn't even notice it was short.
I got to the end of it, and I just felt like because there's a preview in the back for I think Justice League or no Sandman. It's for Sandman. Yeah. So I got to the page where the preview starts, and I'm like, oh, what the heck? Like I feel like so like it's 21 pages, and again, I'm not pretending I'm in the know of all the publishing and everything like that.
Sure.
It was a great issue, and maybe it didn't stop, right? It left me wanting more.
That's what I feel like. Yeah.
But like, I feel like I'm so used to 26 to 28 pages, I guess, and maybe like that's just like the Kickstarter world with no ads has taught me that, and obviously once you have to put in some house ads, you have to chop that down. But yeah, it was 20. I counted it just because I was a little surprised. I was wondering if I was missing pages. Story was phenomenal. I'm excited to find out what this Red Beetle is. Jaime is struggling, and I love that because Jaime is not a broken character, but he's a character that has a lot of internal struggle between family, legacy, everything like that. So, and he's a kid. So I loved Blue Beetle number 2. I'm excited for Blue Beetle number 3. And I did end up grabbing all 3 covers this week because I love Blue Beetle. I love Josh. Adrian Gutierrez is doing beautiful artwork on this book. So it is a must pick up for anybody who loves like superhero, especially like younger superhero stories. Yeah, and that was another thing that caught me off guard. Like I can understand if the preview is Justice League King Kong, right? Because that was like pretty much every book last month. The preview,
every book,
but that is your flagship team, right? So like I get it. Launch that across the hemisphere.
I still thought it was too much.
The Golden Age Sandman book. First of all the Golden Age books are very niche in a way. And then the Sandman of all of them to be the one you push in, and it could just be because again, this is something they had prepared. But I feel like the Alan Scott Golden Age would have made more sense there. The Jeremy Adams Flash Golden Age would have made more sense there since Jay Garrick has his daughter. Anything but the Sandman would have made more sense in that one.
But you get to with Wesley Dodds, don't you get to have like more like another version of like the question or like you know
Yeah,
what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah,
Like
yeah,
so
yeah.
like he's if he's written well, like I've seen like I remember when the question had like a big like coming back around like for one of the billion crises that DC throws. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so he had a big resurgence in popularity. And when the question is written really well, that's a
Oh
great
yeah.
character. And I think that Wesley Dodds is the same thing. Like, unfortunately, it just, I think for me, it falls into that thing where, like, how many Batman characters do you need? Like, you know what I mean? Like, or like Moon Knight
You're
and
right.
Daredevil, like, how many of the same character do you really need? You know? So I think he falls victim of that. But
I'll
it's
tell you
just,
this. I'm sure the Sandman book is going to be written great because it's Rob Venditti. Rob Venditti wrote Green
no
Lanterns. He's
idea who
written a
that
lot of
is.
great. He wrote a great Hawkman story, so he understands the Golden Age character. I just will not be able to be picking that up
Yeah.
because Riley Russomo is doing the art, and I just don't understand it. I don't understand. Here, this is a preview, so it's not spoiling anything. But like, I just don't understand the
What did I just
struggle
put
to
in?
draw faces. Like, I just don't. Faces are like the most important. I don't care how. Like, people make fun of Rob Liefeld for not being able to draw feet.
I will forever make fun of Rob Liefeld
But dude,
for everything.
how can you not draw the faces? What is this? Let's look at that one up close.
Yeah, I did see that. Okay, so let me play devil's advocate because I just love to
Hit me
be
with the
that prick.
advocate thing.
Like, do you know who Jimmy Chung is?
Yeah, Jim Chung. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, so if you and I could actually get up with very little difficulty if you needed proof of it, but I first saw him do cross gen. And so he was on a great book called Scion, and his art is like amazing. But when you look at his faces, it's straight up just a dot, and a smiley face anytime that the
And you know
characters are
what?
at
I
distance.
did notice that because he did a Green Lantern exclusive like pre-pandemic, and I remember loving the colors on it and everything around it.
Mhm.
And then like I couldn't pull the trigger because I'm like, what is the face? Like, what is the face?
Dude, I thought for sure that this guy was going to crash and burn and never have a career, despite the fact that, like, his art, like the scenes and the battle and the armor and everything was great. And if the face was this close, it was okay. But
Yeah,
anything
yeah,
from
yeah,
here and back,
yeah,
it's dot, dot, and like a slant, like he's like Terrence and Phillip or something. And I'm like,
yeah.
what
Yeah,
is,
yeah. That's like
what is up with that? So I think that it kind of like that's what it reminded me of. But so to play the devil's advocate, what I was saying is like he went on to like, and he still does it a little bit, but it's nowhere near as bad. And it goes to show that just because you have a lacking somewhere, it doesn't mean that your other strengths can't carry you through. It really makes me want to dig it
you're
up.
right. You're
Like
right. And like I think I've just been since
it's
Riley
right
when
there. I
Riley
can
Russomo's
see
had a
it.
successful career. Riley Russomo is was the continuous subsequential artist on Harley Quinn for like 40 issues. So like that's huge. And like I'm not hating. I can't get past it. I can't. It's not my thing.
Yeah, I hear you.
It's not my thing. I can't do it. I don't know why. Cuz I wanted to do the Sandman cuz Sandman was in Night Terrors a little bit cuz obviously it makes sense, right? They bring him back from the dead man or whatever. And it was cool and I'm like, "Oh, Wesley Dodds seems so interesting. I want to try this." And I just couldn't. Is Wesley Dodds the guy that opens up Kingdom Come? Like have you read Kingdom Come? Do you remember Kingdom Come?
But isn't the guy that opens up Kingdom Come just some random? He's just some rando, I think.
Is he some random? Okay, okay. I vaguely felt like I remembered it being some freaking old guy that like existed before I read comics.
I think he's just a rando.
Frank Quietly, yeah, Frank Quietly's got an interesting art
Frank
style. Hasn't been around as
Quietly's
much lately.
awful. Igor Corday, that whole thing on X-Men in the 2000s with Grant Morrison was a nightmare for me. So like this picture is like super rad. Now this is Jim Chung. This is out of Scion and Cross Gen and my inability to know my left from my right in a mirror. So you're gonna have to forgive me. So like, but it's cool. Like you can't
It's
really see as
beautiful.
much
It's
of it as I
beautiful.
want. But yeah, it's great composition, and there's like a pretty lady shot and everything. And here's some close-up
Is
faces,
that
so they're
Pretty
not so
Lady Jim
bad.
Chung? Is that Pretty Lady Jim
This is
Chung?
all yes.
Yeah. So her face is very
The
tiny. You
the
know what I'm
closer
saying?
you get, the further she falls.
Yeah, it's like, oh man, everything else is drawn great, but you're right. He just drew like two eyes, and they might even be way too separated apart. And then there's like a kind of
Dude, it gets way worse, but I can see from me trying to show you on the screen that I'm not going to be able to pick it out. But like as far as the awesome stuff goes, like some of these pages are
yeah,
great.
yeah.
He just
And,
like
and
you
like
can
in some
see it.
shots, like I'll admit that face there in that panel, the 3-panel set right there,
Yeah.
is not bad at all. But it seems like
No,
when
but
he's
you
trying to
can.
draw all the extra stuff, he kind of is like, all right, we're done here.
Yep, and you can see when that it doesn't take too much further out in scope before that face is just gone. Here you go. Here is this.
Yeah, yeah, and that's so. Did Jim Chung work for like Image / Wildcat? He like did some of that stuff back in the day, right? Or some of those like.
This is the first I particularly knew of him, but that doesn't mean that I'm
Because I
right
feel
or
like I
that I know
remember his
all.
covers, and I feel like, to be fair, who's somebody who improved a lot. I feel like early Silvestri used to do that with his faces a lot.
Not ever
And
disrespect Mark Silvestri in
I'm
my
just
presence,
saying,
young
I'm
man.
just saying, you look at
Do not
original
ever
darkness,
disrespect Mark
like
Silvestri in
tiny,
my presence.
tiny faces. Yes, Jim Chung did Young Avengers as well. That was
Yeah,
after.
yeah,
That was
yeah.
after by a bit, but yeah.
I have that on my shelf right there too, as a matter of fact. But all I'm saying is, so I feel where, and I didn't particularly care for the art in this either, to be honest. But because a lot of it, the action seems super messy, but the colors are great, and I like
Yeah,
what's
there's
going
definitely
on
positives to it. Like,
for
I'm
sure.
intrigued. Oh, dude, this Spanish, and then this like has me upset, all sorts of upset. The Spanish language variant doesn't even have the preview in the back because obviously they don't have the preview in Spanish.
Man, that is unfortunate.
Yeah.
They could have
Anyway,
tried a little harder. But yeah, let's
What'd you
not get
read?
negative.
What'd you read?
Oh yeah, well, I'm about to say let's not get negative, and then all I got left to talk about is X-Men. No, that's not true. That's not true. Where is she at? Where is my copy of Gods?
Oh yeah, you read Gods, and I know Daryl wanted to hear the thoughts on Gods, so we gotta do that.
I have good things to say about Gods for the most part. I don't. I have to get up to get the book. And it's worth it because I got that easy carry cardstock.
Ooh.
And it's right here. You see me try to find. Anyways, so yeah, I was telling you, I believe it's Jonathan Hickman. So like you're either like in or you're out from the beginning because I feel like you kind of know what you're gonna get. You're gonna get like all of this massive world building and in-depth looks into these characters that I like that they were self-aware on it on that Scotty cover and make fun of the fact that Wynn does seem like just another analog for like Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
And I thought that was cool, but but he's way more like Doctor Who than he is like Doctor Strange,
Yeah.
And once again, so that's the concept of the powers that be versus the natural order of things. I haven't read Ultimate Invasion because I know it's going to be meh, to be honest. And then the $10 price ticket, like that's funny that you bring that up because like that's what I've been seeing a lot of people say about it because yeah, it was $10, but like that's not a problem for everyone. You know what I mean?
Here's
So
my thing, because obviously it's $10, but let's
yeah,
just go ahead and call it two. It's two books in one, right? It's two. It would be issue one and two
kind of.
together. But here's
For the most part, it's
like
not
in
quite that
page.
chunky.
Oh, okay.
I
But
don't think it's quite that chunky.
here's my biggest thing. Why not just break it into two issues, two $3.99 issues?
Oh, well, the worst part is, and so the answer to all of this is actually really short for the TLDR. Is just wait for it to come out in a trade or a hardcover.
Yeah,
If you're really
well, the
interested.
thing is, issue two, which in my mind could have been issue 3, is only $4.99.
Right.
So
Well,
I'm just like, you're losing people at the beginning. I'm not gonna say it's good publishing either way, but it's like at least if you make your $9.99 book the finale, people are like, oh well, I gave it. People aren't even
No,
giving it a try
he
because
did
it's
you dirtier
$9.99
than
out the
that.
gate.
No, they're doing you dirtier than that because like they know that Hickman is like the best thing, the best selling thing that
Yeah.
they've got in their arsenal. And especially when you give him something, this feels more like East of West than it feels like X-Men or Secret
Yeah,
Invasion.
which is
You know what I
cool.
mean?
That's like his bread and butter, like,
Exactly. And like I said, it seems to me like you either like Hickman and like what he does, and you're going to read this, or you don't, and then that's it, and then don't. How much of the book is diagrams? That's funny that you bring that up because the answer is zero.
he did
Absolutely
not
none of
do
it is
any
no.
graphic
There's no big
design.
data pages, but that's what
Yeah.
I'm saying. That's where they're going to get you because the reason to me it doesn't make sense that this book is $9.99 is because he's telling you in interviews that he's writing already with the collection in mind, so that you can have all those data pages. Because if you love Hickman, you want those data pages. You'll never hear me complain about the $75 that I dropped on that House of X trade. Then it's got all those diagrams and stuff. And I had no idea what was going on. You never hear me complain about it. Like if the price point is a problem, like get Marvel Unlimited and read it in 3 months. I don't know what to tell you, but like I'm not here to talk about the price of anything. I'm here to talk about what's a good story, what I think is a good story, what I think is good art, what I think. I mean, I think this is better than a lot of things that we discussed this week.
And I think that's part of like allowing him to breathe. Like X-Men was great and all, and he got to do whatever he wanted to on Hoxpox. But like then, as he gets into year 2 of writing X-Men, it's like now you're all right, what wall can I not touch? What wall can I do? Then you gave him this, which is like very much its own thing, and he's
Yep.
succeeding. I mean, it's his bread and butter. Honestly, I'm surprised he's been still. I'm sure the paycheck is real great. I'm surprised he hasn't been doing more independent stuff because clearly that's where he thrives, like with his own
Well,
IP.
this is where the money is, and
I
also
know.
like this is a good way to like stay relevant in the culture. You know what I mean? Instead of like drifting off and doing like like I've never read Pax Romana. I'm sure it's
Yeah,
great.
yeah,
You know
yeah,
what I
yeah.
mean?
That's true. That's true.
Sure, it's great, but I've read Secret Invasions. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So, but what I enjoyed that he did with this is it outside of just the world building, and I don't think I'd ever because I didn't even read Secret Invasions until like I don't know, like 4 months ago. Like I didn't even really know who he was because like Avengers type stuff is not really my type of thing.
Yeah.
So, it was all kind of new to me, Hickman in general coming back, and I've talked about this before. What I really loved is that he in House of X, Powers of X. I'm never gonna say Hotspots. I hate it. Like I get it, but I just hate it. So in that, what I enjoyed was he was able to weave what he wanted coherently into everything that came before to make it almost acceptable and believable that this could have been the plan the whole way along. And so like that's what I love, not just his ability to build a world, but his actual ability to weave it into the stuff that is existing and already ongoing. And that's what I enjoyed the most about it. And he's off to a running start with this. And what is it? Valerio Sheedy on the interiors, right?
Mhm.
The
Mhm.
sequentials are awesome. This
Yeah.
chick's got a little Jimmy Chung face though. Hold on, let me get up on
Yeah,
her.
yeah, it's very tiny, but the guy next to her is like got a great, like he's got a great beard going.
Yeah,
Like,
well, because that's the main character, dude.
uh,
So but yeah, so this is great. Like I said, he reminds me more of like a Doctor Who type character than Doctor Strange, even though the physical resemblance, like I said, they mock it in the Scotty Collins
yeah,
cover,
yeah, yeah,
which I
yeah.
really wanted to get, but at 10.99,
Only one.
there's
Only get one.
yeah. I mean, like, don't get me wrong, there's still a limit no matter what. So I definitely don't think that it was worth $20. So
So,
but anyways, go ahead. What's
so
up?
last thing I read was issue 2. I got the Trick or Treat cover. That's one thing. DC, I will say, man, DC's
Oh
been
yeah,
hitting it. I'm not even gonna call them gimmick. I'm calling them theme covers because
theme
they're more
covers.
like a theme than a gimmick. There was the Hispanic Heritage Month covers, which unfortunately wrapped up before Hispanic Heritage Month even ended, but we'll all survive. And now there's the Trick or Treat variants, which I think are cool. They got a little symbol down there, looks cool. And then this is the Birds of Prey. I love this book because it puts the team together. I don't necessarily love any one of these characters. First of all, I love the fact, and I know nothing about Zealot, but I love the fact that they brought Zealot into this from Wildcats and from that continuity. Like she owes Black Canary a favor, and she's cashing in that favor. And at one point in time in this issue, she's
That's
like, I don't know
believable.
how things work in your time or whatever. It's like, it's very clear. Like they reference like, yeah, you were in a
That's
different
cool.
country, kind of, sort of. But that's cool. Big Barda being a new god is very cool. Like it is cool having Barda in there because she's usually only interacting with other new gods or old gods. So this is really cool. Yeah, the trick or treat, the poison ivy. Lauren got the poison ivy, and then I don't know if either of us got Harley because she always gets Jenny Frieson. But I know I definitely have a few others coming of this variant. But I love this book. Harley Quinn's hilarious in this because Black Canary doesn't even want her on the team, and she's like very reluctant and everything like that. And then this issue ends with a cameo, or like it looks like he'll be in the next issue. I don't want to spoil it, but it's somebody from the Suicide Squad movie, the second one, the good one. And they're written very funny in the page that they show up in, 2 pages. So I'm excited about this, and I'm gonna show off some art from the beginning of the book, just so it's not a spoiler. But I love whoever's doing art on this. It's Leonardo Romero. Never really heard of him, but I love this old school art style, like almost like the world's finest stuff.
Yeah. Darwin Cook E.
Yeah. I actually am really enjoying that art style in this.
Yeah.
I didn't think I was going to. I remember thinking to myself, oh, that's not modern art, like, but it works.
It seems simple, but it's really clean and really
Yeah,
legible.
and he occasionally does. There's a splash page in here. Like the splash pages with fighting are really well done, like
Oh
I don't
yeah.
know. So I'm loving this book. It's probably, other than Blue Beetle, it's probably my favorite book I'm reading right now, I think. Because it's been fun. It's enjoyable. It's not too dense. It's not too crazy. The stakes are about to get higher because the whole thing is they have to save Black Canary's sister Sin, who is being held captive in Themyscira by the Amazons.
That's what's
So
up.
like we haven't quite heard or seen the plan of how they plan on getting past all those Amazons. But like it's been like Ocean's 11 in a way. Like the first 2 issues is like Black Canary is Danny Ocean, and she's like, I got a plan, and we're gonna get on Themyscira, and it's a crazy plan. But if you're willing to be in on the plan, then we're gonna go through with the plan. And issue 2 ends with they are about to start executing the plan. So I'm about it.
The best Danny Ocean impression.
Let me hear the tangent, Steve. Yeah, that's why Danny Ocean. I know, like, technically George Clooney's voice is completely different. It's like,
No, that's the
yeah.
only way I hear it from here on out, man.
You got a plan? We're gonna execute the plan.
That's my
It's
canon.
like a little bit of Rick and Morty mixed with Danny Ocean, but it's all right.
That's my canon.
Did you read anything else, Roy, before we go off to FOC?
Yeah, I read X-Men. Yeah, I read X stuff. I read X-Men 27. Everyone got the Cyclops with his eyes sewed up covered. Not me. I went with the trading card cover.
You're just
like
gonna
I
attach
always
that blanket
do.
behind you, bro.
That's what I'm saying, dude. Look at, and then dude, right there, actually on my shelf, that's my deck of cards. That little white box, that's my actual this set of cards.
There you go, dude.
Yes, I love this. So yes, I collect all of the trading card covers. Absolutely, hands down, they'll always have me. So I got that, and also just to do X-Men in a bundle. I also did Immortal with the Phil Noto. I don't know. This stuff was okay. It had its highs and its lows. I thought the interactions between Kingpin and Emma Frost were awesome. So there is definitely highlights in that. I was talking to Dave. I don't think I need Shadowcat as like a ruthless killer. It doesn't really do anything for me. Like she was part of an era that was supposed to like morally balance the team. And, that was before like some of the things that happened that led to like actual killing amongst the X-Men. And now it seems like over the course of time, it's just the most thrown to the wind thing ever. And there seems to be a lot of like celebration that now Kitty is now a cutting heads off chick. And okay, like it'll never wow me over. But like, whatever, dude, if that's what it takes to keep a Jewish character relevant for you, then go ahead.
I always find it interesting when like instead of like, especially with like the X-Men, I feel like, and like I guess it happens sometimes in DC with like offshoot teams like Suicide Squad, but it's like, why change a character to be bloodthirsty and not just make a new character that's bloodthirsty?
Well, in this, They will justify it with this by saying that because it's a fight for their lives, but I mean, it's the X-Men. It's always been a fight for their lives from the beginning, and there was just no killing. You know what I mean? They didn't.
Yeah. That's like
And
why
when it did happen,
I'm
like
like,
they
you
had.
could create a new mutant that is like bloodthirsty because of a, like be a.
Well, they have dude. For as far as that goes, they even are running with Typhoid Mary right now.
Oh yeah. That's been
literally mutant. Her mutant power is a mutant when convenient. You know what I mean? Like other than that, they rarely ever address it. It's only because they're like, whoa, this is a great way to tie in Kingpin and do all this nut stuff. So let's make sure that everyone knows that she's a mutant, and that's all true. They didn't change any of that. It's always been that way, sort of, kind of, for the most part. But so they have a bloodthirsty person that they could be doing that, but instead they're running around in Vanaheim so that the Fairy Tale X people can get their fill, because apparently there's a whole branch of us that are just absolutely about that fairy tale stuff. And dude, more power, always more power to that. I'm not disrespecting it because it's not my cup of tea. That's never me. That's why I feel so free to voice my opinions. I love that you love it. Believe me. Believe me, I swear I do. It just, for me, like, I'm over it. Like, I'm not reading any more Fairy Tale X-Men stuff. I'm just not doing it. But go ahead.
I was gonna say, you want to jump to FOC?
Sure, instead of me just complaining. But there was a lot of good stuff in these X books that I really did enjoy.
I've heard Immortal X is really good, or at least it was before they took a small hiatus. So like
the core books are decent. Immortal and X-Men Red, or a Queen Storm and her merry band of friends.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's like, those books are pretty good. It's just like everything else is just like, what is this going on? And I wish they would just tie it up and come to some uniformity.
Yeah.
But hopefully that's what we're doing when we go back to the school.
So FOC, if you're doing DC FOC, it's due today. I know Dave is sitting in the shop. Actually, it's pretty early, so they just opened not too long ago. But Dave is sitting in the shop doing FOC right meow. I'll come back when Magneto does.
They're already.
Magneto, I'm sure that's coming soon. And
already announced it. No, they've already announced Resurrection Magneto. It's already done.
There we go. I was gonna say that's coming.
It's already on the way.
So FOC is due today. Honestly, just do it today. Don't wait till tomorrow. So
for sure.
Your store owners will be appreciative. Boom. There's a cool Boom Studios beanie. That's the thing.
I have one of those.
I was gonna say you already have that. Grim. They're doing these foils, so just make sure you're looking at prices when you're seeing some of these. Some of these books are these weird foils they're doing aftermarket.
That's the legit one though. That's the one I got that covered that spot UV.
Yeah. That's a legit one. Yeah. It's these weird ones up here like Grim 6 and 10 and stuff like that.
Always keep your eye on the price.
Yep, like this Harrower #1. You see, so just these are a little. Let's just call them specialty. I did go ahead and jump on Ranger Academy 2. A little disappointed that the B cover is just a red blank. I would have liked to see more character designs the way they did on the first one. Something is killing the children shirt. If it does not let you order this through Previous World, let your store know ASAP, because most stores are not going to order shirts like that. So let them know if that's something you'd like. I FOC'd Space Between #1. Let me read you the synopsis, and then I'll tell you what I thought it compared to and why I'm FOCing it. Aboard the interstellar ark known as Dordana, the populations of workers live in strictly separated social castes during the journey that will take multiple generations to complete. But everything changes when the pilot from the upper tier named Ravel falls to the lower levels and meets Les, and they must risk everything for not just themselves, but all aboard Dodandra. Each issue of this limited series features a new pair of protagonists and a new generation of humanity in a sci-fi epic of love, survival, and liberation. So, and this is not bad, right? This is me, things I know, and telling you, what I think they're like. It sounds like Snowpiercer, which Snowpiercer in space, and I am all about it. But here's what sold me on it, right?
You should have just said Space Piercer from the beginning and seen who came with you, and I would have been like, yes.
Space Piercer is what I'm going to call this book from now on. But the idea that every issue is featuring a new protagonist and a new generation is genius to me. because you're telling me that this journey they're on is going to take multi-generations, thousands of years or whatever, and you're going to show it to me.
Yeah.
Which means like the characters we meet in the first issue, they might end up having a child or whatever. But then when we get to the second issue, that main character is now going to be somebody who, we're moving a whole generation into the future. And I like that. I know some people like to be attached to main characters. I love the idea that we will more or less get a complete story of a person every issue, but the journey is not about that person.
It reminds me of Asimov's Foundation, which is being adapted. They just finished their second season on Apple TV, and it is phenomenal. And that's the idea, is that this story literally spans thousands and thousands of years. And so like you have like these characters in these timelines that don't exist in other times and places when the story is going on, and some that do, because it's sci-fi, it's Asimov.
Yeah.
But that concept reminds me heavily of that. So not to needlessly plug it, but that might be something that you're interested in if you get that generational aspect of it. Like that is definitely Foundation.
Yeah, I love this idea. I'm gonna check out the first issue. I ordered it. I didn't subscribe. I'm just ordering it.
That cover was so cool. I wanted to buy it.
Yeah.
Not that one. I mean, don't get me wrong, that cover is great, but that Friezon, yeah.
Yeah, but it's just like this weird, and I don't fully BS. I don't understand what these things are.
I don't know what it is.
It must be a new thing that Boom's doing.
I didn't have Boom Studios exclusive. I bet you is what that means.
Oh, yeah.
Do you think that's my guess?
That's 100% it. That's 100% it, Roy.
But so why it's $25? I don't know. But man, that image is cool as hell.
I don't know. This is all weird. Yeah, we'll just move on.
Yeah, okay.
My journalism professor taught me, he's like, you don't know something, just
yeah. If you got $25 to blow on that, please get at me and let me know how it turned out.
So there's Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom special. Is like a one-shot tie-in to the movie. I ordered an A cover. I'm gonna read it. It's written, I think, by Dan. Is it Dan Abnett? No, Tim Seeley. So good writers in there. But I just went with the A cover. They do have a photo cover that is him in the stealth suit, which is a kind of like 90s Aquaman before he loses the hand. And there's a cool blank cover there, but I'm not the guy that's going to go get an Aquaman commission anytime soon. So
I would say the blank is the stealth outfit.
Right.
He looks a lot more stealthy than on the cover.
Real stealth. This Batman Catwoman Gotham War Scorched Earth cover by Kendrick Lim. Beautiful.
Oh crap! You can get it in foil. Damn it! I hate it when we do this show.
Detective Comics. This is part 2 of that demon story. Let's see what else. Let's keep moving. Oh, these Supergirl covers are pretty. It's Supergirl special. A cover by Jamal Campbell. There's a Frank Cho. There's a Will Jack cover, and then the foil version of the Will Jack. I don't know who Will Jack is, but it's a beautiful cover. All right, I usually skim over Marvel, but I have points I need to make. So Amazing Spider-Man 37 has 5 covers. And most of you are familiar. Disney 100, some Stormbreaker that exists, Kari Andrews. They added these Spider-Man 2, so this is based on the video game. They added these variants literally middle of this week. So the first one is on FOC. There's going to be 10 of these. If you are watching the show or if you are a customer at Blackbird, feel free to ask us. I did have to make a list of what the 10 were because a customer wanted one of every cover. And I take care of my people. So I had to do that research because it was not actually in Diamond yet.
Well, I have questions.
Hit me with it.
Like, what titles are they just going to span Marvel titles?
Amazing Spider-Man 37, 38, 39, 40. Venom, whatever the next Venom is, Superior Spider-Man 1 and 2, and Miles Morales 12 and 13.
That's doable. That's not too.
It is. It's not like they're doing it on crazy books, right? It is stuff that most people are.
I think that Venom stuff is the only stuff that I don't read.
And it's only one issue of Venom, which the other one issue is Amazing Spider-Man Gang War First Strike. So that's like the alpha of gang war. So but it's 10 of them. I have a list. This is the first one going on FOC, so just do not miss the first one because then that makes it difficult for you to continue. Because but yeah, I went ahead and did a project at the store to make sure we have this for everybody that wants them. But just do not forget to FOC. Dave is doing FOC today. There's also a Disney 100, so this is going to be a upped issue of There's going to be a lot of this Amazing Spider-Man produced. Black Panther 6, Captain Marvel, Daredevil Black Armor #1 that exists. There's a Howard the Duck cover, so I gotta have that. I ordered it. Carrie. Yep, I gotta get that for Carrie too. You know, Carrie the man.
And I got that Ken Lashley too.
The foil Ken Lashley. Oh no, there's Ken Lashley here, and then there's a Paulo Sequeira foil.
I passed on that, but I want the Lashley and I want the
Deadpool 7 Slaughters, Frank Miller cover. It's not awful. It's a $9.99 book though.
It's such a terrible compliment to give the master Frank Miller.
Yeah, well, he should have.
At least this one is not as garbage as the last ones.
Exactly, right?
I got that Ryan, is it Ryan Brown? I don't know that.
Ryan Brown, right? It's a cool one. That's a cool one. I do like this montage one. The Garcon has been doing.
It's cool.
God's #2 back down to $4.99 like a regular comic with just 2 covers.
What did you do, baby?
Did you do Del Mondo,
baby? No, I did Manhanini.
Oh, he's doing the A covers, or at least on this one. Yeah, he did.
Yeah, I think he did the last one too, but I wanted the E.G. Curie cardstock, and then also once again, curses and hellations to everyone. These Guardians of the Galaxy, I got to keep buying this garbage because they have my man Bill Sienkiewicz with the Moon Knight.
Dude.
Between that and the Howard the Duck, and there was a Hellfire Gala, I might as well have. I might as well be subbed to this garbage book that I've never read. There's no way.
There's Marvel Unleashed, which is the Pet Avengers book, pretty much. New Punisher. So I interviewed David Papos for Rapid Fire with the Roost at Blackbird. That has not gone live yet, but it already happened. And obviously I had to ask him about this new Punisher because it's a new Punisher. This is not Frank Castle. Do not be confused. This is not Frank. I forget his name off the top of my head. I'm sure it's in the solicitation. It is not in the solicitation.
No, I don't think it is.
He's established. Don't worry. It's not first appearance. It's nothing crazy like that. I don't believe. Anyways, that's not why you should be buying the book. But he was just telling me, he's like, it's a cool story of a guy who's he's taken over this mantle, but he knows the mantle comes with issues. And, it's how do you handle that? How do you handle being a legacy character that isn't necessarily the legacy of Superman, of Batman, of Captain America, of Iron Man? And he said it's very much a mixture of John Wick meets the Punisher, because this guy isn't Frank Castle, hasn't been doing it forever. And he might not, I didn't ask him for his origin because I'm assuming that's what he's going to go through in issue 1. But I'm assuming this guy might not be as scarred as Frank, because remember, a lot of what made Frank is what happened to his family. So I think it's cool. David Papos is a super awesome writer. He did Savage Avengers that had some Punisher in there. He's currently doing Moon Knight City of the Dead, so not the ongoing, but the mini.
Which
so
is
definitely,
good.
Definitely check this out. There's some cool covers. There's a Phil Noto.
Yeah, that's how they got me.
Miko Soyan, Manny's got yourself the Scotty. But yeah, this is a cool book. David Papos. Can't say enough good things about it.
Sweet.
Star Wars is doing Life Day variants. I know Nick. That's Nick's new Vice. Thanos #1. There's an A cover right there. There is a Window Shades variant, which is just him in the window of the ship.
Beautiful. How long is that going to go on for?
I don't know, dude. Way longer than it should have.
It's been a long time. Some of them are pretty cool. They're cute. I haven't ordered any of them, I don't think. But some of them I get, but it's just been forever.
Yeah, some of them are way too simple, though. This is Christopher Cantwell writing this. There's a Kendrick Lim, which I think is the best cover.
That's the one I got.
The Phil Noto homage is cool. It just doesn't do enough for me.
Yep. That's exactly my thoughts when I ordered that Lim.
Roy, did you finally not order a What If?
Dude, you are asking me that when it's Tomb of Dracula with the Stanley Artgerm Lau.
You're right. I know you got that.
I looked. You're asking me if I finally didn't order it, and I'm telling you that I dug looking for the foil because I was like,
you were ready to pay me extra. I
So I'll
love
be
that.
back to tell you how much I hated that as soon as it comes out.
Did you do the foil 141 facsimile?
Okay, so I'm super excited to report that yes, indeed, I did get this facsimile, and this will be the first time, I think, I'm almost positive, that I got one of these facsimile foils that I actually have the OG issue for.
Yeah, we're making our way to things Roy owns.
Yeah. So I'm actually kind of stoked about this one. This one's a little personal.
And then there's X-Men Red. So that's the thing. The Alice Cooper book that came out this past week. So issue 2 is on FOC. It's a thing. Master Qua is on
Now,
Dark Ages
but
Gargoyles.
this is the cover for number 3 because I have this book. This has been confusing me.
So you already own that cover? That
Like that's the cover for number 3. Like I could go digging, but it's a little late in the show for that. But dude, I'm like, oh no, I could show you on my CLZ. But all right, keep going.
So that's Gargoyles, Master Qua, love him.
Yes.
Savage Red Sonja number 1 if you're a Red Sonja fan. And then let's move on to the Independence. I do not love the way this is set currently, but I will fly through it how I thought I did it.
Blood Commandment, cover, right?
Blood Commandment. Yeah. That's that cover.
So this is out of my CLZ. I own this comic, so that's the cover for number 3 that they're showing for number 4. And I know for a fact that it's going to be Master Qua, but it's not that cover.
Yeah, exactly.
So if you're the one person out of this whole feed that reads Gargoyles like me, like I told you should, just be aware that that's not that cover.
That might not be it. I do love this book, The Blood Commandment. I did not order it. I have too much on order, but it has a cool Last of Us homage video game variant, so that I want to show that off to you peeps.
The foil Micronauts made me happy too.
Yeah. Steven, if you're still watching, drop whatever tangent you wanted us to go on.
Yeah, we didn't forget about you, buddy. I never shut up.
New D&D books, the D&D Fortune Finders will be a 4-issue miniseries. If you like the D&D comic books, that is out.
Whoa. You're not going to scroll past the hardcover for Dead Romans.
Oh, Dead Romans. There's no zombies from what
There's no zombies in Dead Romans. I have that entire book. Like I stopped reading it like after like 2 because there's no zombies, but I have that whole thing, baby, and I might even order that hardcover.
It looks like it was 300. I mean, there's no zombies in 300 technically, but you know,
I'm gonna buy the hardcover and get you to sign it for me.
Yes. Like, who'd you get to sign that? My boy sold me the book. My boy. Heat Seeker Gun Honey. Let's see. I want to see if there's any new number 1s that I really want to talk about. King Spawn's got a cool cover, A cover by Dan Panosian. Really, the A cover is the fire cover. Let's be real. Manifest Destiny hardcover deluxe edition for volume 1. I've been talking to people more and more because Blackbird has a huge indie like comics thing, and Manifest Destiny is just a series that if you have time or you want to check it out, whether you pick them up in trades or pick this up, it's essentially the story of Lois and Clark discovering America with Sacagawea and everything.
Did you say Lois and Clark?
It's Lois and Clark. And instead of like, yes, they're mapping America as they go, but they're finding monsters like everywhere they go. You know, not necessarily like cryptids or kaijus, but probably something in between. And as they're mapping America, they're like, oh, this is the area where the giant squid lives. Like, avoid this. And I kind of love that idea. Like, it's like not high fantasy, but like sci-fi fantasy. Oh, Roy, I'm sure will have a little small opinion because he loves Brian Pulido. So let's finish up this and we could talk about Lady Death. And if you're not familiar, Roy,
controversy?
It's not a controversy. I don't think it's a controversy. Brian Pulido just copyright was infringed, let's just say, and it wasn't Pulido infringing the copyright. You know what I'm saying? Like somebody else.
Okay. Well, I mean, dude, I've seen that like everybody in the world drops those thirsty ass covers. Like,
well, like it was like very clearly Lady Death on the cover, and like somebody did. It was on Whatnot. So first of all, Whatnot, I don't want anybody to like say I wasn't like the guy who said it. But like Whatnot's the wild west, and like nobody I'm not gonna say nobody cares, but it's like Whatnot to me proves that you don't care about your clients and you care about the money because it's pure FOMO and everything like that. Anyways, we'll get into it in a second. I do want to show off Ranger Academy is going to a second print, cute cover. Rare Flavors is going to a third print. That is a phenomenal book by Ram V. So I just
So
wanted to point
you
those
finally
out.
read it, I assume, yeah.
Yeah. I love it.
It was good. I'm
It's
excited
great.
for the next one.
Great. I love it because I loved. There was a book called Hungry Ghost that was like co-written by Anthony Bourdain a while ago, and it wasn't as crazy as this, but it was something I loved and always wanted more of. And when he passed, obviously, like you knew you weren't getting any more of
Right.
that. Let's see. Is there anything really else worth noting? Oh, new Yosagi Ojimbo, Space Yosagi, Deaf and Honor. No Scotty Young on this, but it's still cool.
Still super cute.
I can't believe Stan Sakai is still just knocking those
Plugging along.
Ministry of Compliance is a new #1 from IDW. TMNT Last Ronin Lost Years is coming out in a hardcover. They are reprinting all of Last Ronin. If you're somebody who just absolutely needs it in paper form, it's happening. This is your last shot because obviously it's only hardcovers and trade paperbacks after this. Transformers going to five different second prints. So take that however you want to take it.
Poor Jerry.
Yeah.
Poor Jerry. My heart goes out to you, Bubba.
That's how we'll take it. Poor Jerry.
My heart goes out to you, Bubba.
Untold Stories of I Hate Fairyland #5. Walking Dead still chugging along. The World Tree Volume 1 trade paperback will be out. That's the homie James Tynan and Fernando Blanco. I'll be seeing them this next weekend. $9.99 for a first volume. Great if you needed to read that.
That is great, yeah. That shows they made their money.
Yeah, right. They ain't super worried about it. And that's really it. There's some kids' books that you can check out in the book section, and then I'm not going to go into statues and models.
I got that Spidey and His Amazing Friends book. So if you FOC stuff like that, you can it's real. You can get it.
While I prep up the new releases, new this week. So what happened is apparently some lady or some vendor, let's just call it a vendor, who knows, was on Whatnot selling what looked like, I'm gonna be real with you, it looked like AI art. Or it could have been uber digital, but it looked like AI art, and it was very clearly Lady Death. Nobody really knows what's in the insides because nobody that's like a huge Brian Polito told people not to buy it. So like, who knows?
Yeah, that's all I need to hear. Yeah.
But they were selling them, signing them, everything. You know, it was wild. So Polito being Polito, and like to be fair, like I like Polito. You've told me that you've met Polito. He's always been cool. I do think Polito's a guy who's holding on to his last piece of relevancy, which is Lady Death. Like let's be real. Like he's gonna be much more upset. It actually affects his livelihood.
Yes.
When something like that happens, because he probably makes all of his income to like live his life through Lady Death.
Without a doubt.
So like I get it, right? And he went out and he told people not to buy it and send me the info, and I need to, cease and desist and all the big dog things like happen in those situations. But like again, I think this is all more so just a cautionary tale that like people on Whatnot. So like apparently this person, I don't have Whatnot, so I can't even see like anything like that. But they have an Instagram, so I went to that through a web browser. And it's all just like trying to hype books. Like it's like what I imagine Comic Tom does.
Yo, when we see him at the cons, you can always spot them because they look like roaches. Like they're crawling through everybody's stuff. And hey man, let me get through here. Hey man, let me get
brings up a good point. He says everyone already and their mom does them. Why speak out against this one? And that's like that was my thing. I thought it was a little weird. Like again, I get it. He's a small time guy. Like he's not Rob Liefeld. He's not Todd McFarlane.
Yeah,
but
because
like what triggered this one and why and what I think happened, this is 100% speculative, Steven. I think he reached out to them to get a cut of it, and they said, nah, fam, this ain't Lady, like we're not printing Lady Death. Because if you look at the cover, it's like a virgin foil, so there is no Lady Death trade dress, and who knows what's inside of it, right? He's going more off of the copyright or name, image, likeness, or whatever it is. So I don't know. I bet you he just wasn't getting a cut and he was salty, and I bet you he gets a cut even if he doesn't draw it or it's on a reprint. I bet you he gets, because he works as the publisher. So I bet you what happens is if you want to print a Lady Death exclusive cover, you pay Brian Polito X amount of money, and he goes through some printer he knows. The way that if I were running the store and I want to print an exclusive for Scout, I bet you Brian Polito is that person. I bet you what
Okay.
this person did is they created a cover, put no word in there that made it look like it copyrighted Lady Death, sent it to a local printer, and had it printed. And Brian made $0.0. And I think that that's purely speculative. Purely.
I mean, dude, if it's that blatant, then he deserves it. And like, as far as like, why would he choose one and not another? Honestly, who cares? Like, you know what I mean? Like, pick and choose your battles. Maybe he thought that this was concrete enough, because when you want to sue somebody, it takes resources.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
you
yeah, yeah.
literally have to make sure that the juice is worth the squeeze. Maybe this is one person that his lawyers feel they have locked down and they can successfully pursue for financial revenue, as opposed to chasing their own tails, wasting money on lawyers, suing people that are either too broke to pay or
Yeah.
people that can squirm their way out of it. That would be my guess on why I picked that one. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter why you would choose. You're the artist. You're under attack. That's your lifestyle. So it's your choice. Call your
And
shot.
it is because like you got to think of this too. If that book ends up being like pure garbage, like the insides is like
That's fair, Daniel.
garbage, like then people buy it and think, oh well, Brian approved this. Like forget about if he made any money or not. People
Sure.
definitely have that assumption that he
It's
approved
Lady
it.
Death. I want it. Yeah.
So like I get it, and you're right. He probably has not attacked every single person that's unlawfully done one of these. But I just think this person maybe was too big for their britches. You know what I'm saying? Like when you're
Yeah.
the guy selling bootleg DVDs at the flea market, you're a lot less likely to get caught than the guy who's selling bootleg DVDs on eBay
And
or
not
has
only
his own
that, but
website.
like anyone who's done mid-level crime will tell you that like sometimes you get shook down and you just gotta pay. You know what I
Yep.
mean?
Yep.
And if you know what I mean, sometimes that's the way it goes, and you pay and you eat the loss. And then they decided they didn't want to do that. Well, so they're getting
But
taught a
that's what
lesson
I
in the
think
court of
happened. But
law.
who knows? Polito seems like a nice guy. He's always at convention shaking
Yeah, I
hands.
can tell you that I am pro Polito in this
Yeah.
conversation, no matter
Yeah.
what.
So I don't ever want people losing money. I never want anybody lose their jobs. So
Yeah.
you know. So this is what's coming out next week. Real quick, gonna just skim through this because I like doing this, just so we don't have to show you guys like everything we bought. There's the trade for Berserker. There's issue 2 of Firefly. House of Slaughter continues. I'm guessing you got the UV cover, Roy.
Yeah.
Hunt for the Skinwalker issue 2. Met Cadets issue 3. That's me. DC, I'm sure I'm getting a zillion of these things. So I'm getting Batman and Robin 2. Lots of cool covers. Kale's doing one. Matina, Gabrielle
I got the
Delago.
Matina.
Matina's fire on that one. I did think all of these were fire, to be fair.
Yeah, I've got a homeboy that's super into Batman, so I'm thinking I'm gonna collect like 12 issues of that for him, and then just package it all up and
It's
send it to him.
it's a good, easy to ingest story. I
Yeah,
like it.
yeah. He's a huge Batman fan, and he doesn't have the money to collect. So I'm thinking about doing that. That's why
Yeah.
I'm collecting those.
This is Batman City of Madness. I want to say this is magazine size, 3 issues. Christian Ward doing art and the writing.
I didn't see
Art.
that.
Christian Ward's art is beautiful. So like I can imagine on these splash pages on magazine, this is gonna be beautiful. I'll be flipping through this when it comes out Tuesday. Danger Street, Diana and the Hero's Journey. I do love these little kids graphic novels. I actually was just telling Candace and Aaron that we should try to stock these a little bit more in the shop, because I think when you tell us your kid, oh, my kid's loving Wonder Woman, or my kid's loving Batman, but he's 8, 9, 10, what should I get him? Like, yes, I
This
can hand you Batman and Robin #1, but Batman and Robin #1's not written for an 8, 9, 10-year-old. It's not inappropriate. It's just not written at
right,
the
not
level.
written for you.
This stuff is. So I think this is the segue between, getting your kid into something and then eventually them picking up comics.
Which is why I get those Spidey and His Amazing Friends books, for my kid.
Yeah, exactly. Things like that.
Hook them while they're young, man.
Green Lantern 4, I did order because it's a Flash. It's Jeremy Adams writing a Flash story with Hal. It's Jeremy's book. So I'm intrigued to see where this arc goes. And people have been telling me I should read this. So I figure if I end up loving this, I will just continue subbing and maybe eventually grab the first 3. But it's a jumping on point, so I can live with that.
I'm going with John Stewart on this one instead of Hal. Like,
Mm-hmm.
that's just where, because like, I don't know, like I seem really, I don't know what the correct term is. Like, I show preferential treatment to Marvel, but in my heart, I don't. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, it's weird.
Yeah.
And, like, I usually end up going back and just collecting, like, the big events from them in trades because I still want to keep up. But, like, I don't know if I'm just, like, that well brainwashed and that well trained that it's just all Marvel, all Marvel, all Marvel. So I'll spend money on stuff that I will tell you consistently for months is garbage, but I won't pick up, like, this DC book because, well, whatever. So I really fine tune which DC books I'm going to grab. And I want
Yeah.
that, like I said, if I'm going to read a Green Lantern book, it's going to be John Stewart over Hal, especially the way it's shaped up. Like, I didn't get to read the Hal though, so I can't.
I'm gonna. Neither have I, but I've heard great things. So this is like my convincing myself I can do it with it being a Flash crossover.
All right.
Dan, that's another good point. The thing is though, like, and using Wonder Woman as that example, like, hopefully any good parent would read or flip through the book before buying it for their kid. But this new Wonder Woman #1 is not for your 10-year-old, and like that's, I'm not gonna say it's unfortunate because, like, I guess, right, like, it's more grown up writing, but like, you then just do need to find something Wonder Woman that you can get a 10-year-old. So that's the juggling that happens there. Wesley Dodds, the Sandman, is this week. Does have a foil cover, right?
I see that. I'm gonna pass on that, but that Batman one had a Sienkiewicz cover. You don't got to scroll back. I waited too long, but like I might
This
have to
one?
pick that.
Oh
What is
yeah,
that?
Barry B cover Sienkiewicz. It's like a Batman and then like the like a shadowy.
Oh, like a flip, huh?
Yeah, like upside. Yeah, it looks cool. It looks cool.
I'll probably end up picking that up if it's still on the rack when I get there, or if they have one.
I'm sure it will be. It's a #1. World's Finest Teen Titans. I did both covers because I'm reading it and I can't pass up a vintage Wally West cover.
Right.
Marvel. What's Marvel got for me? So
Garbage.
ASM 35 has a Disney 100 cover. It's got a Stormbreaker with Casa Grande. Avengers 6 has got a lot of covers because it's Avengers. That Sousa cover is pretty cool though.
Yeah.
Blade 4's got a couple covers. Did you order the Mahini? Or you're not doing it anymore?
No, now I'm gonna have to look because I'm worried that I did get the Manhanini and then missed that Howard the Duck.
Oh damn, they double dipped you right there, Howard.
Because I could tell you that I want both of those.
So yeah, there's that.
I don't know what I ordered.
Captain Marvel
Blade
Assault
has been
on
good.
Eden.
I can't with this. Like,
bro, they're really. I get it that she's got a movie coming out, but like, it's a lot of Captain Marvel.
Like, they just keep crashing like her regular series.
It's a lot of
all these weird
that
minis
never
and
has more
one-shots.
than 10 subs. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just
That's unfortunate. I mean,
Cap
I
Wolf.
hope the best.
Cap Wolf.
I wanted to let this Ryan Brown cover sucker me in real bad, but I didn't let it.
You didn't let it. Gary Frank cover, so it's Cap Wolf. I do love this
amazing
epic collection of Ghost Rider. This is the good stuff right there.
That's the good stuff. That's another thing that's gonna be hard for me to not pick up.
So what'd you end up doing on this? What'd you do on this Guardians then? Did you do?
I didn't order none of that crap.
Oh, so you just skip it when there's not a good cover.
Yep.
I feel
like, but like that. But that's what I'm saying is like they make the cover cool so often that like, what is that? It's number 7.
Yeah,
I bet I've got at least 4 of those issues.
Yeah, dude. So there's Magneto 3. I know. Dan's gonna love this. He's gonna love it. And then there's Betsy Cole, a new champion Magneto, because what it's not Scarlet Witch. So
hey, I ordered that cover, man.
You ordered that? It's cool. It's really pretty. I'm just
so this we talked about this before. This new champions thing is just a big squeeze on the Spider-Boy money.
Yeah.
So they're like, hey, let's pretend that everyone has these cool sidekicks, and like here's the Doctor Strange one. I got it because it had tentacles. Don't judge me, or do. I don't really care.
Robert, you good, dude? You're the homie.
Oh, sweet. So he did get it.
Nice. He came in and picked it up Wednesday. I was there, dude. I was there because I didn't realize we had a Cuban sandwich, but we couldn't start serving it till 2 because we were waiting for the pork.
That's why you were stuck there.
So I stayed till 2 to order my sandwich. Then I had to eat my sandwich, and then Robert came in.
That's hysterical. No, bro, you're welcome, dude. Like I said, I can't imagine a better fate for it, seeing as how I already have my own copy. So I'm excited that I could pass that on to you.
There was a Cuban. They did it Wednesday, Thursday. apparently, Candace had told me, and I don't, it's not like 100% because it's all like in what I'd call alpha mode. But Wednesdays she's gonna be trying to do like really good like specials. So on the weekends, if you ever notice, Blackbird does really dope sandwiches, like ones that take a little more effort, more manpower. So she's gonna start trying to do those on Wednesday as well, because Wednesday's new comic book day and it's also busy. So she's just
We're
gonna
in there.
get the staff up. So there was, but because they had to literally make the pork, it wasn't gonna be ready till 2 because it literally had to. So I know they served it Wednesday and Thursday or until they ran out of pork or whatnot. But it was good. It was made. I'm gonna be real, and if Dave is watching or Candace is watching, I loved the Cuban sandwich. As a Cuban person, it was a white person's Cuban sandwich. It was delicious. It was delicious. It just had things that we don't we on the island we ain't throwing on there. Dave, I think might have been Dave's idea. He put chimichurri on there, chimichurri sauce. Phenomenal, phenomenal. Added a lot of taste. Just it was a different Cuban. It was great. It was great. I look forward to see what they do next time. I was telling JB, I'm like, I order a Cuban anywhere I go, not because I feel like I'm a Cuban snob, but because I want to see what like different
Yeah,
people do with Cuban sandwiches. Like apparently
absolutely.
in Tampa, they put oh man, I'm not somebody from Tampa would have to remind me. I don't remember. They put something on it in Tampa that
Have a good one, Daniel. We'll see you soon.
nobody else puts on it. And they say, "Oh, well, we're the original makers of the Cuban sandwich, so that's just the way it is." And I'm like, I don't know if that's true, but whatever. Moon Knight City of the Dead 4 of 5. That's David Papos. That's out this week. The Demon Bear Saga also came out this week. That's a cool one. Them dogs be barking. Spider-Man India. Do I not feel like that book has taken
It has taken
forever?
Yeah, we were literally in a whole different world when this book started.
Well, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
All right. Dark Joy. Star Wars. The Superior Spider-Man Returns is the one shot leading into Superior Spider-Man. Bunch of cool covers. Venom 26. So I think it's Venom 27 then that is that is sick that Rian Gonzalez did 2 covers. Oh man. I don't do Venom and I almost want to grab now 2 covers. Like the one where he's oh Manny. I'm so
do you
jelly.
work on Wednesday?
No, I'm
Are
off
you back?
Wednesday.
Are you ever going to be back to working on Wednesday?
Hopefully the week after.
Because you don't show up early enough for a guy like me who might want to get that Rian Gonzalez Venom. We can't be dancing in there at 11 o'clock. You know what I mean? I gotta be getting up in there.
Just message the store.
Well, yeah. You don't like.
You want to know the real truth? You want to know the real truth? And if you guys are watching and your customers of Blackbird, like I guess this can be help in a way, and it's not a guarantee, but you could go in there right now and hit order, and when they go do the poll, if it'll be the bottom.
I was gonna ask that.
It would be the bottom request, but like it'll get done. It'll get done. You got to do that before Monday though, because Monday they do the poll and the sheets are printed. Once the sheets are printed, they ain't going back and printing another. But yes, that is possible. That's how some of the homies have started their sub, because they walked in and they needed books and there was no FOC like that, like for that. Anyway,
so I can go look at what I ordered, because we're looking at just to break it down and make it plain and simple. We're looking at the comic books that are coming out on Wednesday. I can go in right now and look at what I've ordered, and if I'm not satisfied with that, I can also order these the same way I would if I was FOC requesting my books.
Yeah,
and then once everything that is already delegated out, if there's another copy, then boom, that's in my box. It still gets done.
And the perfect science behind it too is like, so Dave will likely see like I don't know if they do it every morning or whatever, but they'll see like Roy has a request for Venom 26, and it'll either say like can be fulfilled from this purchase order or it can't. And if it can't, they can trigger that reorder Monday instead of Wednesday when everybody else in the world has decided that they want to.
Okay, so that is
probably, I would just say like if you ever feel like you missed something before Monday, you can still hit new releases, new this week on Previews World, and hit order. And it's not guaranteed, but it's definitely better than walking in Wednesday and saying I need it.
Yeah, for sure. That is good to know.
Wolverine, 3 covers, pretty dope. They got new champions. They got a Michael Cho going old school. X-Men Red, that's Sousa cover is again beautiful. Also the 60th anniversary. X-Men X-verse villains. That's kind of cool. It looks like it features Magneto and Apocalypse stories. Actually, it tells me right here. Uncanny X-Men 150, Wolverine First Class 2, X-Factor 24, and X-Men Spider-Man 4. So I'm going to fire through Dynamite. If anything catches my eye, I will stop. There's new Garbage Pail Kids for those of you that like Garbage Pail Kids. Then we are moving to Independence. A Haunted Girl #1 is out. That one is written by Ethan Sachs. I know that name from somewhere. I want to say Antarctica. I think that's the same writer from Antarctica. So it sounds pretty cool. American Psycho is getting a comic book adaptation. So if that's your jam, that's your jam. There's a movie variant for you fans of that. Let's see what else. I was seeing if Bloodborne had a Master Qual. It usually does, yeah.
There's an art germ for Conan though.
Yeah, it's a San Diego Comic-Con foil $20 variant. I know Master Qual is doing the Conan third print. They're doing a virgin version of his.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. That'll be the third print.
Because I have that cover. That's how I ended up stuck reading that book. But like I said, but I'm not actually stuck reading it because like I like those old Conan mags, and if you like those old Conan mags, then this is pretty much right up your alley. So I dig it.
Hunt You to the End. I think 5 is the final issue.
I believe so.
I like that series. Hunger and Dusk 3. That has been a really great selling series. It's like violent high fantasy orcs. I love it. Kill Your Darlings 1 is getting a second print. That was a great book. I don't know if we did an FOC show when this book was on order, and I hope Dave ordered a decent amount because I'm gonna read it as soon as I get it, and I think I'm gonna love this. The premise of this is that there is this 50-year-old firefighter who is afraid of danger. He's afraid of running into fires. So what he's done for his career is been a desk jockey, right? Oops, not mean to go there. He's been a desk jockey, and in his time of desk jockeying, he's done a lot of nothing, and he's going to be retiring soon. And then something, the way the solicitation says it is something happens with his family that he has to risk his life. For the first time ever, he is running into a fire.
Right.
And something happens that ends up making him fireproof. He is now fireproof, or he finds out he was always fireproof. One of the two. So now he is I don't want to call him
never burn your hand like ever before. Like,
right?
Never.
Like, so he's fireproof. So he's this coward.
Not a line cook.
He's this coward who happens to work in a department where you literally deal with that stuff. And now at 50 years old, he has to realize he has to become a hero. It's called Midlife Hero at 50, and I love it. I really love the idea. Lauren loves firefighters because she used to work for the fire department. So I FOC'd that, bro. And I'm gonna read that first issue. But hopefully, Blackbird has a few of those because I would love to be able to hand sell that because I think it's gonna be super awesome. Operation Sunshine from Dark Horse. It's got a few covers. New Rick and Morty presents Freaky Friday. I'm sure that is just going to be Freaky Friday in Rick and Morty world. Sonic is still Sonicking it up. Yosagi has a Hunter one-shot. And I think that's really it. The Cole is on issue 3. It's Kelly Thompson. She's also that writer of Birds of Prey. There's the Halloween Adventures of TMNT, which I do love the Day of the Dead variant with Raph. And then that's really it. Weird Work. Zombie Vikings. I almost got this if it wasn't for the $12.99 price tag. And then, yeah, there's like little golden books for Wish, which I think will be cool. And
if I had saved my money from Dead Romans, I'd be able to afford Zombie Vikings.
Zombie Vikings, dude. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
I actually really enjoyed the art and where the story was going. I enjoyed it. That's one of the ones where like I read the first like 2 issues and then waited for the 5th one to come out. And now that it's all done, I'll read it all. But so I'm not I'm not upset about it, but it's definitely came in expecting zombies and definitely never got them, and it became this running joke for
It did.
almost the duration of our friendship now,
Yeah.
so I'll always be grateful for this book, like no
Forget
matter
Romans,
what.
man. I gotta
Yeah,
go get that signed by everybody.
that'd be
um,
rad.
so we've made it to the end. We're gonna make it at an hour and 30 minutes. This was long a little bit, but it's because we loved what we talked about. Like it was nice to be able
Yeah.
to talk about what we read. So Birds of Prey, Ranger Academy, The Ghouls, Blue Beetle. Do some of them, do all of them. Gods, Transformers,
Shout out
Icon and
to
Hardware.
Yep,
Yeah.
this is a big shout out to Blackbird, Aaron, you, everyone involved there because these were
Hit me
issues
with
that
it,
got back.
Steven.
These were issues that got back ordered for me that I had missed out on, and so they came in and they were in my box, and I'm
Oh,
happy
and you
about
got
it.
your poster, bro.
And I got my poster, absolutely, and also Sozo Micah.
Yes.
So,
Lauren picked up her books. I think she had the David Nakayama. Is I think she
so
had.
Sozo Micah
I
all
am
the
not
way.
heading. I believe that's this Wednesday. So I'm gonna be at the shop for a little bit, picking up my comics, eating and stuff like that, enjoying like. So I'm like, I'll admit, man, my life is all right. Got it. It's like I don't get as many weekends off as I'd like and everything like that. You get it. I'm the new guy. So when I get Wednesday, Saturday, or Sunday off, that's like the day that I realize like I know what I want to do with my time on those days. When I have a Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, I don't know what I want to do, right? I gotta wait for my fiance to get off work. Like I don't know. But Wednesday, I know I want to hit the comic shop. I want to chat with my boys, eat something that I usually wouldn't eat on my lunch break, like like just like kick it. And then Saturday and Sunday, I got my like football and stuff like that. So, even though I'm off work, I won't be heading over there because I do get on a plane. I think my plane leaves at 7 that night. But I'm getting on a plane to New York that night.
I
For New York Comic Con.
swear, if this isn't the last time that I don't go with you to New York, I'm gonna be so mad at you.
Dude, it's so funny because I told Candace and Dave, I said, I might step away from the Agents of Slab a little bit because it's hard to get the time off and like to make those sacrifices. Like this is 5 days off away from work that Carly and Aaron have to hold down the fort, and they probably got to get like Parker up there to help, and Dave and Candace might have to do it. So it's inconvenient for everybody. So I told Dave and Candace, I said I might step away from it next year, and they're like, "Well, we still want you to go to New York Comic Con next year," and I'm like, we'll talk. We'll cross that bridge in 11 months or like 10 months. And I'm not doing Singapore. I just cannot take that kind of time off. So I know I'm not doing Singapore. So it's tough, man. It's tough. But as you get in your 30s, 40s, you don't get to make the same decisions you did in your 20s. Like in my 20s, I just leave. I just be like, all right, I'm gone. Like I'm going to Rhode Island for a week.
It's funny that you say that because you're here. I am 43, and I'm telling you right now, if there was any chance at all that I could have gone to Singapore, I'd be on that plane. If I had known that you were going to end up backing down from, and I understand why. It's no disrespect or look or condescending knock to you, but if I had known back then that you just were not going to go, I would have gotten my passport so that I could have gone, because I absolutely would come home and tell my wife and my kids,
Because
I'm going to Malaysia. I'll be back. Like,
trip
they'll
is
be
like
fine.
6 days because of travel. Because travel is
No,
1 full day there, 1 full day back.
don't care. I don't care. Like at all. Like I'm so out the door to go to Malaysia, and I wouldn't even charge Coach a dime. Like whatever it costs to like live there, or you know what I mean? Like, obviously I have to eat and sleep somewhere, but like other than that, like I wouldn't even need to get paid for the work I did at the show. I'll do that for free. No problem. Go to Singapore, New York, I don't care. Anywhere that's not Texas, I'm down to go. I don't really go to Texas.
Well, we're gonna get out of here, Roy. We will see what we can supplement for a show next week. It will 100% not be Sunday, as I will still be in New York. I fly back Monday morning, and then I have.
If I were going to New York with you, I would do the show.
We would just do the show at the airport.
Yep. I'm just saying.
But we'll figure it out. We'll post maybe Monday. We'll see.
It's whatever. I'm down. Let me know.
But all right, guys, it was fun chatting with y'all. We'll see you
Rex.
on the next one. This quarter variant at a time. Dave, I'm I'm gone. I leave Wednesday night. I'm available to work Wednesday. I'm not scheduled. I leave Wednesday night. I think my plane leaves at 7.
He's
So,
just playing with you, man.
so, and then I don't get back till Monday I think I land at 10 o'clock and I'm in the shop. Oh, okay. And I'm in the shop at 2. So maybe if I'm not dying for a nap, I might hit up Roy and do the podcast in the morning. If I'm dying for a nap, I'm just going. But I don't know. New York's always been fun. I just hate the separation from life. Lauren has to take care of the dogs for 5 days. Like I said, Aaron, Carly, Dave, Parker, Candace have to take care of. It's one less body in there. That's a long time. So it's fun, but it's stressful and anxiety inducing. And once it's done, I'll have tons of stories.
If I can't go to New York, then Dave, if you need me to take over for him at the shop, you let me know. I can do that instead. It's whatever. I'm gonna be helpful somewhere.
So, all right, guys, we will see you next week. It'll be a great new comic book day. Yeah, Lauren, I know. It'll be a great new comic book day at Blackbird and anywhere else in the country. And don't forget to FOC your books. Dave is probably in here because he just finished it. He was probably like, I'm done. And then he's going to get a request because some of you lovely people probably just watched.
He's going to get a request from me because.
All right, guys, take it easy. Do your FOCs every Sunday. New comic book day every Wednesday. Adios. Bye-bye.